You know how they like to tell us the truth right in plain sight, right? Well, let's see if you can follow along with this truth right in plain sight. Before we get there, let's start off with this. You know that he is the 45th and the 47th president, right? The 45th and the 47th. And why do I talk about that? Why do I bring this into the picture? Well, because I think that's part of it being right in plain sight. The 45th and the 47th just happens to be 9 and 11. And well, we all know what happened on 9/11, but that's not the 9/11 I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about the biblical 9/11, specifically Revelation 9/11, that reads, "They are ruled by a king, the angel of the abyss. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon," or I couldn't help notice that it was Abad-don. And in Greek, it's Apollyon. So the guy that just happens to be the 45th and the 47th president, which adds to 9/11, who likes to refer to himself as a king.
I want to share with our viewers something the president posted, Ed. It's a message that reads in part, quote, "Long live the king." And this is after he ended New York's congestion pricing.
So the 45th and the 47th president, which adds to 9/11 and refers to himself as the king. And Revelation 9/11 just happens to talk about the king, whose name is Abad-don, and the guy who just happens to have a penthouse on the 66th floor has some interesting things in that penthouse. Interesting things like a statue of Apollo. You see, Trump sees himself in the mold of Apollo, Zeus's son, and one of the most powerful of all the gods. So the guy who is the 45th and the 47th president, which adds to 9/11. 9/11, which talks about Abaddon and Apollyon, and he just happens to have a statue of Apollo in his 66th floor penthouse. And two, if you wanted to stand with him and vote for him, you dialed 88-22 or 66. And we're a few short verses after Revelation 9/11 comes Revelation 13, where it talks about the allegiance of the oppressive system and the mark of the beast, and it being the number 666. And just a few short verses later in Revelation, we get to, "He laid hold the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. That old serpent, which is the devil, kind of reminds me of that serpent in the Garden of Eden. You know, the one that offered Eve the forbidden fruit that is often depicted as an apple. You know, the one that he's depicted with on his first ever book. When speaking of Apple, I couldn't help but put the two and two together. The first Apple computer was sold for $666.66. And there's more from this. We talked about the serpent, which is the devil, and the apple. But what about that? The dragon. Do you know who Trump is also referred to as the dragon?
China's admiration for Trump comes with an ironic twist. On social media, he's nicknamed Nation-Building Trump. Also, comments like these: "The Dragon King is coming back." The official photo of American Empire's King Trump.
We got the dragon and the king in that one, but there's more dragon references.
Best I've ever looked, and the POTUS is calling me. Mr. President!
You gonna put that on speaker for us, or what?
You are a great fighter, man. I'll tell you. You make it so easy. I don't know how the hell you do that. Congratulations. I wanted to watch that fight tonight. I wanted to watch it. You were great.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. You gave me the dragon energy when you shook my hand on Sunday at your rally, and
So the Dragon King, who just happens to be the 45th and the 47th president, which adds to that. And in that, it just happens to say his name, Abad-don, and also Apollyon. And that guy just happens to have an Apollo statue in his 66th floor penthouse. Oh, and I bet you'd be shocked that the Trump administration just happens to favor Apple, which was first sold for, again, remember, $666.66. Maybe that mark of the beast isn't going in your hand, but in your hand. But of course, all this for entertainment purposes. I don't literally think that he is the dragon, which is the serpent, which is the devil. No, of course not. That would be ridiculous. Entertainment only.